Do you like working hard to get better gear, level up, and progress through a game, only to have it all ripped away every time you die? That's what a roguelike game is, so if that sounds appealing, join me while I cover the top 5 free roguelike games on Steam you don't know about. Part 2. Part 1 is linked in the description. Muck is a survival roguelike where you build and craft items to survive for as long as you can while battling monsters. It uses a lot of the same tropes as other survival games like gathering materials to craft items, but does so with the goal of getting stronger through upgrades. During the day, you gather materials to craft things to prepare you for the night, where you try to survive the onslaught of monsters. Killing monsters gets you gold, which is where the roguelike elements come into play. With money, you can buy chests, which give you some sort of buff to help you survive. The game has a really steep learning curve at the start and will definitely take you a few tries before you get out of the I don't know what I'm doing phase, but once you do, it's a very worthwhile game with a lot of depth. You can play with friends as well, which makes the game even more fun.
I just have that. Oh my god, what? He was facing the other way and he just...
Fetch me their souls!
Killed him.
I played with my brother and it makes the learning curve a lot less steep since you can revive each other, meaning you only have to restart if everyone in the party is dead at the same time. There's a nice variety of monsters you have to deal with and various shrines you can activate that have different purposes. There's even boss monsters that spawn in that are insanely difficult.
Oh my god! He did 98 damage.
Yeah, we're done.
If you're looking for a roguelike survival game with a lot of depth, then I recommend Muck. Super Raft Boat is an action roguelike where you simultaneously build your raft while defending it from attacking sea creatures. You run around on your raft shooting at enemies while continuously adding more pieces to it, since enemies and hazards are constantly trying to hurt you and destroy your raft. You need the raft to live since you can't shoot at the enemies when you're in the water. These simple mechanics make for an excellent push and pull system, as you have to both focus on where and what kinds of enemies are coming at you while trying to build up your raft. The game has 4 different waves, each of which adds new hazards and enemies. Every time you complete a wave, you get to pick from one of 3 trinkets to buff your character. You can unlock different characters and weapons for those characters by completing in-game challenges, like this shark who has to go in the water every few seconds since he can't breathe air. Or this robot who can fly above the water and still shoot for a limited amount of time. This helps vary each run since each character has unique traits as well as different weapons. If you're looking for a polished action roguelike game with a unique concept, then I recommend Super Raft Boat. Overclocked the Eclocalypse is a bullet hell twin-stick shooter where you battle against a clockwork army. You play as this wizard who has several abilities. Along with shooting, you can dodge very frequently, and your dodge goes through bullets, which incentivizes fast-paced movement when there's lots of bullets on screen. You can slow down time to help weave through bullets and create these time portal things that trap bullets before spraying them back out at enemies. The levels are designed as randomized arenas filled with a variety of enemies that you have to learn and adapt to. After you clear a floor of enemies, you get an upgrade before moving on to either another floor or a boss fight. The bosses were my favorite part of the game, as they're really well designed and put a unique spin on the arena-style combat. The only major issue I had with the game is it occasionally wouldn't load an area, causing me to reload the game before continuing my run. But if you like bullet hell games with some unique time-warping abilities, then I recommend Overclocked the Eclocalypse. Ghettos is a third-person shooter where you defeat stages of robots in different arenas. You pick 2 weapons at the start of each run, and each of them has a special ability. And weapons like the shotgun, for example, even have a secondary firing option. You have to kill all the robots on one stage to move on to the next, and every time you beat one stage, you get to pick from one of 3 upgrades that either buff your weapons or your character.
What are you doing, step bro?
You have a jump and dash to help you avoid the variety of enemies, from ranged snipers to these annoying shield guys you have to kill before you can deal damage to everyone else. There's a boss fight at the end of each themed area. Once you beat the boss and move on to the next stage, new enemy types and level layouts are added. You can unlock new weapons by completing challenges.
step bro.
which gives you an incentive to keep playing to try out all of the weapons. If you're looking for a simple third-person shooter with some cool weapons, then I recommend Ghettos. Captain Starshot is an action shooter where you battle and then board alien spaceships to eliminate their forces. During spaceship fights, you have to strafe around dodging the alien ship's projectiles while trying to destroy its weapons. Once all of its defenses are down, you're able to board the ship, which is when the combat switches to the run and gun style. This style of play has you defeating a variety of enemy aliens with your crew as you go from room to room in search of the objective. Your crew starts out with 3 people, each with unique upgrades specific to just one person in the crew, so it's obviously best to try and keep your whole crew alive. You pick what kind of objective you want by flying to the corresponding alien spaceship. The objective type you pick determines what kind of upgrade you'll receive at the end of the mission. I would have liked to see more enemy types as well as enemy ship types, as it does get repetitive after a while, but if you're looking for a comic book style sci-fi shooter, then I recommend Captain Starshot. Those were the top 5 free roguelike games on Steam you didn't know about. Part 2. I'll have part 1 to this video as well as my playlist of free Steam games you don't know about linked in the description. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.